My name is Miles Seaborn, member of Team Dynamic Discs, and this is my in the bag video for 2019. I'm going to start off, obviously I have a Dynamic Disc backpack cart here, but I've modified it a little bit. You can see at the bottom I put a rack for my discs to sit in. I kind of like that low center of gravity in it, but also give me enough storage up here to put a soldier bag, or enough space up here to put a soldier bag. And I use the storage for all kinds of stuff. I've got a couple oven mitts, because it's pretty, they look like oven mitts. It's pretty cold today. These are just fleece cart gloves for golf, and they work great. Beanies, hand warmers, whatever. Discs also fit up in here, so if I need extras for a course, I can put as many in there as I want. Have the full spectrum of discs that I need. Up at the top, I've got my putter pouch. I added a little bucket here for towels and stuff like that. I'm a big towel user. I don't hold it when I throw, but I pull it out a lot and pretty much wipe everything down. So to have it up high accessible where my putters are was a big deal. What I putt with is Daggers. I'm a fan of the Latitude 64 Daggers. I'm a taller guy. I have a little bit larger hands, and so the deep rims on the Daggers don't bother me too much. I really like them the way they fly straight. When they start to fade at the end, they don't hyzer really hard. They just kind of sit. Being from Texas, now I'm from Louisiana, we have a lot of wind where I play. And so anything that doesn't like to pick up and lift and go different directions after it's missed, essentially, is good. And so I'm putting with hard Daggers, and those will always be in the bag unless I find something new. My other putter that I throw, I have a Mercy here. This is a zero medium Mercy. I've had it in my bag for a long time. It's an ace disc, and it's just a really beat-in straight thrower. I can throw it for soft up shots, soft drives. I even putt long-range putts with it, things like that. The other disc I keep in here is a Biofusion Suspect. I use it mostly for driving. I don't use it a lot for up shots unless I'm in that 200 to 250 range. I throw with a lot of torque and power, not so much finesse, and so I like to, instead of taking something and either dialing it up or taking something and dialing it back, I like a disc for a specific distance, and this fits that kind of 220 to 250 range for me really well. Down here at the bottom, starting with my mids, gotta have my anvils. I carry two different anvils. I have a special edition anvil. It's kind of the burst plastic, and I've gotten it beat in really well, and so it's actually fairly straight for an anvil. I can throw it pretty hard, and it will go straight for a while before it gets that nice predictable finish. At the other anvil I have is still throwing one of the original prototypes in the Opto plastic, or excuse me, the VIP plastic, and it's still very overstable. I use it for all my up shots and short drives where I need it to go left, where really a driver is just too much. Always have an EMAC Truth in the bag. This one's really beat in. It's a Fusion, and I use it for very soft shots. I don't really throw it hard very often unless it's on extreme hyzer, because it is beat in, so it tends to like to flip up and fly flat. Next is probably my favorite mid, is Verdict. Right now I've got two in the bag, and this is one of the original hybrids when they first came out, and it's been in the bag for a long time. Basically it flies like an EMAC Truth now, just with a little more fade at the end. This Verdict is a Lucid. It's pretty new. It's pretty overstable. Just something I can throw flat into pretty much any condition and know that it's gonna fade at the end and hyzer out. I carry a couple of Caltrips. Technically they're putters. I use them more for throwing. I don't really putt with them. One's really beat in, one's pretty new. They're both zero medium. I like the tackiness of that plastic for up shots. I don't feel like it's gonna slip out, but it's not soft, so it's not gripping in my hands or sticking in my fingers. So what I end up doing with these is they don't have a lot of glide, and so if I have an up shot where I'm worried about going past, or it just feel uncomfortable, I can throw this pretty hard right at the bucket and know that it's gonna sit. It's not gonna try to take up and take off on me. Last but not least, in kind of the putter mid-range category, is a soft Harp. If you don't have a soft Harp, get one. Lots of people throw the hards and the mediums, and those are great too, but the soft ones are where it's at. If you need a disc for any kind of wind to hit the ground and just stop, this is the disc for you. Going on to my fairways, I've been throwing Getaways and Explorers. I've really kind of taken the Explorer out. I've gotten this Lucid Getaway kind of beat in, and so it's doing the job of the Explorer. I just like the thicker rim feel of it, a little bit better for me. So this one's real beat in. I can throw it on hyzer, it flips up flat, flies straight for days. We all know the glide these things have, and they'll go forever. I have a brand new Lucid Getaway in. same thing as my beat-in one, it just holds straight and then gets that predictable finish at the end. I'm throwing the new Latitude 64 Pioneer. This is one of the proto ones. I'm really, really liking this disc. It kind of reminds me of first run Felons, but doesn't have as much glide, so when you throw it, it doesn't want to take off on you. You'll notice a theme with a lot of my plastic. I don't like disc with a ton of glide. I feel like it's more controllable. You don't get any weird bounces or wind bumps or anything like that with it, but this thing is nice and overstable, but not stupid overstable. You can throw it flat and it'll hold straight for a while before it fades at the end. I also have in here a Westside Ati. It's a VIP plastic. This is just kind of my really overstable short fairway driver. More overstable than the Pioneer. I can just throw it flat and it immediately right on my hand starts trying to hyzer. The first driver I get to in my max distance driver is a Ballista Pro. Right now I only have one in the bag, but I take 3 or 4 that I shuffle in and out depending on the course conditions and what type of course it is. This is a pretty domey Opto, and for my arm speed and my torque, it can get a little turned over on me, but I like that because I use this disc mostly for just big flex shots and long distance. I've actually learned to power it down a little bit and get it to fly flat, and it just goes for days. It goes for days. Super, super far flying discs. If you've never thrown one, you'll hear a lot about them, how far they go. Get one, you'll love it, I promise. I keep one Enforcer in my bag pretty much at all times. This is a Biofusion. And the Biofusion Enforcers have a little bit of dome, a little bit of glide, but they like to go straight. They're not crazy overstable like the Lucids are. They're just straight, and so I use it a lot for tunnel shots and things like that, where I need a little more distance than maybe my getaways can get. Also, it's a wider rim, so my hand fits it a little better. I really use it, honestly, more like a fairway driver, if that makes sense. I carry 3 different Defenders in my bag. You'll see these yellow ones. I'll start with those. One's super beat in, seasoned very well, has a nice turn to it and fade, but it still holds that Defender stability. The other one's just a brand new Lucid, nice and flat shot, but it wants to hyzer, so I can trust it in a little bit of wind, or if I need a little more distance than one of my fairways can give me with that hyzer finish. This thing right here, if you've never seen a Sparkle Defender, they're pretty special. They're pretty domey, and they are very, very overstable. And so being in the part of the country I'm from, like I said, Louisiana and Texas area, we have a lot of wind. So this comes in very, very handy. It comes in very handy when you use discs in a lot of wind, because I can trust it in pretty much any situation. It's not going to flip over on me at all. I also carry 2 Stilettos. This is an oldie. This is one of the first ones I got. It's an ace disc again, and it's a little bit domey. It's a gold line, and it's just been in my bag for a long time. It's a comfort disc for me. In any kind of windy situation. I throw a lot of big spike hyzers or even scoobies or grenades, depending on your preference. You hold the disc upside down, you throw it straight up in the air, and it comes straight down. This is a great disc for that. And then I have a brand new Opto that's just overstable pig. I mean, if you don't know what an Opto stiletto does, just go YouTube. You'll find videos of these things turning left. If you're right hand, backhand, they go left. That's all they do is go left, and so they're really useful in a lot of different windy situations. Last kind of driver in my bag I have is an Opto Xxx from Latitude 64. This is just a very comfort disc for me. I throw a lot of short sidearm touch-up shots with things, depending on wind direction and stuff like that, and these things don't have a lot of glide, and when they hit the ground, there's not a lot of ground action with them. Like you probably get a little more ground action out of the Pioneer or the Ati. And so this one I can just pinpoint it right at the pin from short distance, and it just sits, and that's why I use it a lot. It's great in the wind too. It's very overstable. Up here at the top, this is really all I do in here is I keep just some utility discs that I don't throw very often. First one is a Fusion Sheriff, dynamic disc Sheriff, and this is my roller disc. I will throw it on some high scoobies. What happens with that is when you throw it high, it flips over and actually glides a little bit. But it's pretty much roller disc. That's all I use it for. I might use it to get out of trouble occasionally, but roller, that's it. And then I keep a really, really beat-in Opto Explorer. Really all I'm doing with this is if I ever get in a situation where I need a disc to turn right and stay turned right, that's what I use it for. Or, like I mentioned with the Sheriff, sometimes I'll use it to get out of trouble, little short flicks that I don't need to put a ton of power on them, but just need to hold straight and sit down. So that's about it for my bag. I do shuffle different things in and out throughout the year, but these core discs will pretty much always be in my bag in one way, shape, or form. So hopefully I'll see you guys out on tour some this year. I'm going to get out and play a few more A tiers this year, so that's an exciting thing for me. And if not, definitely look for me at GBO.